Today I'm going to show you how to grill one of my very favorite steaks, the picanha. It's also known as the top sirloin cap or the coulotte, and in the UK and Australia they even call it the rub cap. But picanha is probably the best known name, and that's the Brazilian name because this cut is iconic from Brazilian restaurants. And usually you see it in this C shape like this, all bunched up with a big skewer through it, and they rotisserie it and then slice it really thinly. But you can also cut this whole picanha into some really, really nice steaks. It's got a fat cap that runs over the whole thing, so you can usually recognize sliced picanha as this really nice lean muscle with a little fat cap on the end. So I'm going to take this whole picanha, slice it into steaks, season it, and grill it. Let's do it!
Let's take a closer look at that picanha, and you can see it's got that beautiful fat cap that runs the length of the entire muscle, but the other side is nice and lean. This one's trimmed really nicely too. And that's how it looks in the Brazilian steakhouses, just to remind you. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut in this direction to form steaks. The steaks are going to be about, I would say, 1.5 inches thick. Because of the slightly triangular shape of the picanha, you are going to end up with one steak that's kind of smaller and awkwardly shaped, but I just cook this up and kind of eat it when no one's looking. I consider it chef's privilege. You might also notice that the fat is higher than the muscle on these steaks, and that's because the muscle is really squishy, but the fat is really firm. Now the problem is it can cause an issue during cooking because that high fat can stop the steak from getting proper contact with the surface, and that means you won't get an even sear. So to fix it, here's a trick a Brazilian butcher taught me. You put your steak fat side down and angle your knife towards the board and trim away just a little bit of fat to get a perfect ratio of fat to meat. It's time to season, and of course I'm using Hardcore Carnivore Black. It's perfect for picanha. I'm going to season the steaks generously on both sides, and then I'm going to set up my grill. So I've got a chimney full of lit coals, dumping them in, and I'm going to set up 2-zone cooking. So all my coals are to one side to create a hot and cool zone, but this setup is crucial for picanha steaks.
Now those picanha steaks, they're gonna flare up on the grill, especially how I cook hot and fast, but really it's inevitable with that amount of fat on them. Realistically, with any grilling or live fire cooking, even if you're a pro, you're probably gonna burn yourself at least once during grilling season. There's no grilling season in Texas, we grill all year round. Now especially with how I grill with the just keep flipping method, I usually end up scorching my finger right here, and I always keep a can of this in my grilling area. This is the Alocane Emergency Burn Spray. It's got lidocaine in it, but what I really like about it is you can just spray it on the burn and go. You don't have to then go and wash your hands as you would if you applied a gel or something like that, so you can get straight back to grilling. It's seriously handy stuff. You should definitely have a bottle of it around.
Alright, so it's time to start cooking these steaks, and I'm going to get them over the direct heat. Those coals are bunched up so they're really, really hot, and I'm going to cook the steaks by flipping them every minute or so until I get to the color and crust that I want. I'm also going to turn them on their sides to see that fat cap, and there are those flames that I was warning y'all about. It's actually this flame that is exactly the reason for this 2-zone setup. Even though the steaks have the crust that I want, they're not cooked all the way through yet. So I'm going to move them to the indirect side and let them finish cooking until they reach about 130 to 135 degrees. After the steaks come off the grill, I let them rest for a couple of minutes, and can I just get a heck yeah on that Hardcore Carnivore Black crust? And here's another reminder of the shape that you're more familiar with seeing from the Brazilian steakhouses. Alright, it's time to cut into this steak. I really love this cut, you guys. It's beefy, it's got those great fat caps. We hit perfect medium rare. Really, I love this cooking method for this cut, and you can see the meat is still nice and juicy.
This is perfect picanha. Every single piece comes with its own nugget of delicious fat. So good. And that Hardcore Carnivore Black, mwah! The little fat cap at the end. Okay, that's it. Go make it.